Oh, hi to my YouTube subscribers. I have to report that I'm still pretty jet lagged, but I'm going to make a video today about 10 important items to consider when applying for a Thai tourist visa or if arriving on a visa exemption. So let's jump right in. So the first item to consider is that now that visa exemptions are available again, I really recommend that everybody coming to Thailand think about whether they should just come on a visa exemption. The visa exemption is free and you don't have to do an online application as you do with an e-visa, and the only penalty is that you get 15 fewer days in your stay. So I think that each person who's coming to Thailand should ask themselves the question, should I just come in on a visa exemption? And you'll find information on this in my video, should I get a Thai tourist e-visa, a visa on arrival, or a visa exemption? And I'll put a link to that in the description of this video. So item 2 is when you're applying for a single entry tourist visa or a visa exemption, you do need to supply either a return ticket or an onward ticket. Now, immigration assumes that you'll be applying for a visa extension, a 30-day visa extension. So if you're coming in on a visa exemption, they require that your return or onward ticket be dated for 75 days, that is 45 days for the visa exemption plus a 30-day extension. So they want your return or onward ticket to be dated for 75 days from your arrival or less. Now, if you're entering on a single entry tourist visa, you're going to need to supply that return or onward ticket when you apply. And in that case, they also assume that you're applying for a visa extension, a 30-day extension, when you arrive in Thailand. So they expect the onward or return ticket to be within 90 days. Now, here's the problem. Some airlines are not aware of this. So when you get to the airport, some airlines may expect that if you're going to Thailand on a visa exemption, that is, you don't have a visa, but you're just going to get the visa exemption on arrival, they will require you to have an onward or return ticket for within 45 days. The same may be true of your single entry tourist visa. They may check to make sure that you have a return or onward ticket for within 60 days of your arrival. So some airlines don't consider that you'll be applying for a visa extension when you arrive in Thailand. So if you want to avoid this problem, you can contact the airline ahead of time and make sure that you understand their policy with respect to what they expect for the return or onward ticket. Their requirements may be different from Thai immigration, so fair warning. Now, for item number 3, some major airlines during COVID instituted a policy where you can change your ticket, even an economy class non-refundable ticket, that you can change your ticket without a change fee. Now, be careful, because if that ticket price actually changes, you still are responsible for the difference in price. But chances are that ticket prices are not going to go up a lot. They're already pretty high. So I recommend that when you get a ticket, I would give preference to tickets from airlines that are waiving the change fees. It's a very useful feature, and in particular, related to item 2 that I described before, that if you're concerned about being stopped when you leave at the airport, you could just get your return or onward ticket for a date that's within the 45 days or 60 days. And then when you get to Thailand, you get your visa extension, you can always change the date on that ticket with no additional fee, assuming that the price of the ticket hasn't changed. I think that's a useful thing to know and take advantage of. Now, the 4th item is one that I've gotten a lot of questions about. This applies only to people from the UK and Ireland who have to submit their e-visa applications to the London Embassy. The e-visa form for the London Embassy is simply wrong. There are 2 items on that form, items 8 and 9, that simply don't belong there. They're wrong. I've talked to the authorities in Bangkok, and I've written to the London Embassy. The London Embassy refuses to fix the problem, but they say that for these items, items 8 and 9, just upload your hotel reservation so they know that you're a normal tourist, and that will satisfy their requirements for items 8 and 9. But if you want to learn more about this, see my video, A Bug Just for British Citizens in the Thai Tourist Visa Application, and again, I'll put a link to that. Now, if you're a family coming to Thailand on tourist visas, you have to fill out a separate application for every member of the family, and you have to get a separate visa for every member of the family. For item 3, the declarations, a parent should sign the declaration for each child. And you can supply a single bank statement for the family. The amount that has to be in the bank is larger. It's double what it is for a single person. And the information you upload has to include proof that you're related to the person whose bank statement it actually is. For more information on this, see the video, Thai Tourist Visa and Visa Exemption for Families. And again, I'll put a link to that in the description. Well, this is the point in the video where I usually insert a brief advertisement. So let me ask you to consider buying my book, The Vientiane Affair. I think it's a very good book. It's exciting, and I think you'll enjoy it. You can find order information in the description to this video. I recommend buying the audiobook from audible.com or Amazon, or if you're an Audible member, you can use a credit to listen. But what I really wanted to ask you today is to take a look at my website, robertsultan.com. I'll put a link in the description. I just posted the first 14 chapters of my new book, The 28th Amendment. This is a story that's set in America about 20 years in the future, and I think you'll find it very interesting, and you can read it absolutely free on my website. So please have a look at my website, robertsultan.com. Take a look in the section called Novels, and feel free to explore the rest of the website. Okay, so now let's get back to our video. Now, I've gotten a lot of questions on number 6. According to immigration regulations, you can leave and re-enter Thailand by air on a visa exemption as many times as you want. Now, you're limited to 2 land or sea entries per year. But if you're coming in by air, you can come in on a visa exemption as many times as you want. Now, there's no guarantee that immigration authorities won't bother you about this. But this is the rule, that you can enter as many times as you want on a visa exemption. Each time you enter on a visa exemption, you get stamped for 45 days, and you can extend that by 30 days by going to a visa office and getting a 30-day visa extension anytime during that 45-day period of your stay. You can learn more about this by looking at the video, The Absolutely Complete Guide to Obtaining Your Thai Tourist Visa Extension, and I'll put a link to that in the description. Item 7 is important. If you come from a country that has multiple embassies or consulates, you must submit your application to the embassy or consulate that corresponds to the proof of residence that you supply. So for example, if you're from New Jersey, you must submit your application to the New York consulate. In the description, I'll put a link to a map, at least for the US, that shows you which embassy or consulate corresponds to your state of residence. If you're from other countries, you can just check your embassy's website for this. It only applies in cases where there are multiple embassies or consulates in a country. And number 8 is a question I get a lot. Some of the items in the e-visa application require that you upload multiple documents for a single item, but you'll find that the e-visa application only lets you upload 1 document per item. What do you do? The easiest way to handle this is to take your multiple items that you're uploading, which should be in the form of a JPEG or PDF, and you can drag those into a Word or Pages document and then print that document as a PDF. So you'll have a PDF that actually contains the multiple documents that you want to upload. Now, if you want an example of how to do that, I show an example in the video Thai Tourist Visa and Visa Exemption for Families. This is where the example is, even if you're not coming in with a family. So you might want to look at that example I think it's fairly clear, but a lot of people ask me how to do this. Number 9 is important. When you fill out the e-visa application, there's a point where you upload a photo of the biodata page of your passport. After you upload that photo, the application will do an optical scan of the passport picture that you upload. You have to give this 30 seconds or a minute to complete, and then there'll be a pop-up that will come up on your screen and will have all of the fields of your passport, and it will ask you to verify that these are correct. There's a really good chance that they won't be correct, and some of the errors might be subtle. So check carefully, make sure those fields are correct, and then check in the application itself to make sure that all these fields have been filled in correctly. So I had one person write in, and he found that a 0 on his passport was interpreted as an O by the optical scan, and his application was rejected. So check carefully. Now, I've had a lot of people complain about the time that it takes for their visa application to be approved. This is really dependent on what embassy or consulate you submit the application to, but of course you have no choice. So I got an application approved from the New York consulate within 4 hours, but I've been hearing lately from people who submitted applications to the LA consulate, and they're saying that they've waited a couple of weeks and haven't heard back. Now, if you're in that situation where you haven't heard back for a while, if you look on the embassy or consulate website, you'll find email addresses and telephone numbers. It's worth contacting the embassy or consulate, but some of them are not very responsive. Keep in mind that in a worst case, you could probably enter anyway on a visa exemption. Okay. So these are 10 items that I get questions about all the time. So you might have these questions also. If you have other questions, please have a look at the videos, but also feel free to ask questions in the comment section of these videos. Okay, I'm going to be flying on to Surin tomorrow by way of Buriram Airport. I've never been there before, so it should be interesting. So see you next time.